we covered C#. And this week, the next and the following next week, we will have Python, everything around Python, how to create wallets, how to integrate, how to start the hello world, and how to integrate front end, back end, everything, the way we did for C#. So as the first session, we will have some Python basic code, right? How to, with the AlgoKit, new AlgoKit 2.0.1, I guess this is the final version, and how to have this hello world, what changes are there from the previous scripts and all. We will discuss all these things today. Just give me a moment. Let me know once my screen is visible. Mudassir?
It's visible, Sunu.
Thank you. So if you have this terminal on, your DOS prompt, command prompt, terminal, whatever you want to call, you can check what is the current AlgoKit version. With my machine, it is 2.0.0, but I guess the latest one is 2.0.1. So if you download, you can either upgrade, or if you are downloading for the first time, it will be directly 2.0.1. But there are certain things you need to take care of for this particular AlgoKit version, because for this, we have a Puya compiler. Puya is basically, we have now Python directly integrated with the toolkit. So, AlgoKit. So what happened over here is we are now removing the points of beaker, and then you have to deploy using something else and PyTil and all. Now you can write down the entire code in Python, end-to-end code in Python. But for that to work, you need to have the default Python version is Python 3.12. So just keep that thing in mind. You can see that on my screen, it is bigger than, it is 3.12.2. Right? So now let us see what new other changes are there with the AlgoKit. So if I do AlgoKit over here, AlgoKit init, that is basically will give me my initial template. So last time also, when we had this PyTil, we had the same thing, AlgoKit init. If you are new to Algorand platform, you don't know how to install, our YouTube channel has all the videos of how to set up your sandbox environment and everything. I would advise you go ahead and take that watch that video. Even if you have any problem, you can still ping any one of us or Discord or anywhere, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Once you have installed AlgoKit and once you have set up your Docker environment or sandbox environment, you can see that in the Docker also, there are 4 images which should be in working mode, right? And these particular 4 images, if they are running, that means you are particularly connected to the sandbox environment, right? One is your indexer, the other is on a conduit node, third one is your AlgoD node, and fourth is your Alpine Linux node. So just remember that one, right? If you have set up successfully all these things, AlgoKit, the sandbox environment, and everything without any sort of error, you will be able to open your terminal and start this command, AlgoKit space init. If I do that, it will now give me the basic templates which are possible now with the newer version of AlgoKit. So first is your smart contract, then we have DApp, that is DAPP, decentralized application, smart contracts and DApp frontend. That means your contract as well as your front end. And if you want to create something extremely custom, depends on it. Today, we are going to use only the first option, that is your smart contract. Now, once you do that, there are 3 options given to you. PyTil, we are trying to slowly move away from PyTil, but it is still supported. So currently, you can say mainly there are 2 options over here, Python and TypeScript, right? So we'll go ahead with Python today. So I'll select Python. Now it is asking me which directory you want to select. So I'll say, let's say, because we are on 3rd April, so I can say 3rd April, right, 24. And then it will ask me about the smart contract I want to create. So it will start rendering, copying your virtual environment, everything which needs to be done to be put inside that folder. Now we have hello world. That means basically what they want to utilize as a name, right? So I can see that, okay. I can see it is hello world, it is showing. So I'll just press enter. Then interesting 3 options are given to us, that do you want a starter template? Do you want a production grade template, or do you want a custom template? Now, since this is for the first time we are trying to achieve, so we will not go with production or custom. I can simply go with starter. Starter or production, I don't think so any major changes are there. It is just that this for production template, the code is more, you can say, bifurcated and properly architected, while starter is a basic code, right? So I'll just enter. Then it again asks me which contract language or which programming language you want to use for your contract deployment code. So there are again two options over here, Python and TypeScript. So I'll go with Python. And now we have to wait because it will ask, it will run all the necessary libraries to be installed for my project to work. So I'll do that. And as last time also, our famous editor is now open. That is your VS Code, right? So here, Sarah, if you have not set up and everything, it will just ask you that how to set up, how to use install prerequisites. If your Docker, AlgoKit, CLI installation is not there, this one is installation guide is on this page, then bootstrapping your local environment and every other information is given, right? If you want to, if you forgot to use or if you might have some entered into some error, you can utilize this, right? Now, on the left-hand side, if you see the same old code we are seeing, but there is an interesting thing over here is something called root or something called workspace. So by default, the code is now will be in the workspace area where you have your VS Code, your projects and everything else, right? For us, you can see that 3rd April is over here, which is the folder which I have created. And this is my workspace. If you just see that, it will, let me see. Yeah, it will be displayed as workspace, right? You can expand 3rd April and you will see all the things which you require. Over here, your smart contracts. And if you expand the Hello World folder, you will see 2 files. One is your contract.py and another is your deploy-config.py. Now, these 2 particular files are required. One, this is your smart contract, very simple. This is your deployment code. So if you remember, for deployment, you need 3 items. One, your RPC URL, which is basically your either sandbox URL or your test network URL. Second, your wallet address, right? And third one is basically your contract. So for deployment, contract ABI file. So you require these 3 things in order to deploy a contract over the network, right? So this particular file will take care of the 3 things. Right? So you can see that there is no artifacts folder yet. That means we have not compiled the code yet, right? So I can see over there are other files also like init.py or main.py and this config.py. So this particular file is important for us. That is your config.py. And in this config.py, basically, all the necessary configurations like from where to deploy, which are the folders or from where to pick up the file and everything over here, everything is written. Configuration, right? Which is required for our smart contract. Then at the bottom, you will have certain environments variables. So this is your basically .env files for VS Code. If you are using VS Code regularly, you will be able to understand that these are environment files which are almost necessary when you are deploying or when you are working on an enterprise project. So this is nothing, it's empty. But over here, if you select local net, you will be able to see that the configuration for sandbox is given to AlgoD server port, token and your indexer server and its address, right? So this is your local net or I'll say sandbox environment. The second part over here is if you just click over here, this is your test network. That is basically your test network, AlgoD and indexer server. By any chance, if you miss this one, you can open app.deflo.org, this website. You can go to, if you have not selected or by default it is main network, select from here the test network and then go to the node manager. If you go to node manager over here, you will get both the links, AlgoD URL and AlgoD index, right? So these are our test network URLs. And there is a test network template and all. So basically the environment is set. Whatever you want to deploy, either you can copy over here or you run by default. If you don't provide, the code is designed in a way that it will by default deploy on the sandbox environment, right? So now what we have done the basic contract is with us. So now let us try to understand what is the basic contract. Now, since this is basically directly a Puya compiler we are trying to use, and over here you can see there is a new package from AlgoPy, and we are importing ARC4 contract and we are importing ARC4 itself, right? So what is ARC? That is basically we all know that, and I'll leave up to you to identify the full form of ARC. It's simple. But ARC basically is a list of various versions of smart contracts, like ARC3 for NFT, 69 for NFT, then ARC4 for smart contract ABIs, ARC28 for events. So all these are various smart contract coding standards, right, created by the team of Algorand. Okay. So what we have done, we have just a very simple import is done where we are importing two items, ARC4 contract and ARC4 itself. This particular code, it is exporting ARC32. If you want to see that, you can just expand somewhere and you will see that over here, right? The files and everything, if you study, you can find that number over that which particular version is being used and all. Now coming back to our smart contract code, this is a very basic smart contract code where there is a simple class created for you with the name of Hello World, and the constructor basically it follows ARC4 contract. Then we have our first method, but you can see that the methods are now ABI methods. And we can have ARC4.ABI method. That means you are writing down a smart contract and under which you are creating a very simple method. The method name is DEF, that is basically definition. So the name is hello. Then we are passing the first variable, which is your string variable. We are returning a string variable only. But over here, return hello, that is basically the hello is already there. And we are concatenating two strings. So whatever we are passing through name, it will be displayed at the end. So this is your basic, very simple Python hello world smart. Now the question is, how do I run this? So I've seen that my sandbox environment is also running. I have my everything. This is hello world. So I don't want to do any other code. I simply want to do what I simply want to do. I simply want to run the code, right? So what I can do, I'll select the file, I'll go to run, and I'll start debugging, right? I'll showcase two ways to do this, but this is the easiest way. Then we'll see the other way. So you can see that now it is starting the AlgoKit local net. That means it is starting the sandbox environment. It has already started because I have already started my Docker desktop. You can see that it loaded the .env file, which was not there, and it doesn't have anything. So it picked up the local net file, which was basically a sandbox environment. Right. So let us wait till the time it deploys. Now will you think that, okay, why is it taking time? We are talking about sandbox environment, which should be extremely easy and very quick. But the point is, previously, when the AlgoKit was there, the sandbox environment used to have 3 default wallets. So we were not supposed to create a wallet and fund that wallet and everything. 3 by default funded wallets were given to us. But now we have the wallet will be created again, right? And then it will be funded and all. So sometimes it takes time because there are multiple transactions also going on before your contract gets deployed. Right? So you can see over here that deploying contract.py, then hello world is already found in this particular wallet address, which is created when I ran the code for the first time, right? But what app ID I'm interested in is this one. So we have now created 1015 app ID with which wallet address? This wallet address, right? So, but again, why would you believe this can be a simple printf statement also? My latest application is visible to me. That is 1015. That means this particular wallet is used to deploy the smart contract, right? So this is the easiest way to run your code over here. Like select this file, the deploy-config.py, and you are good to go. But then what is the other way? So if you go to your readme.md file, at the bottom, just a second, guys. Yes. So over here somewhere, there are 2 codes to, just a second. Yeah. So see, there are building contracts and deploying. You are given two codes. So if I run this one, right? So I'll just copy that. I'll come back over here in my terminal and I'll just write down that command and run enter or press enter. Then it will do the same thing which it did before. See, let us see that. Yeah. So you can see that the contract build is successful. Now, if you want to use, if you want to deploy, then there is a second command over there, which is written under that line. So we have built the product. Now we can deploy. And what is the proof that we have built? So you can go and check that there is a new folder now, artifacts, which was already there because we deployed just now. And if you expand that, you will be able to see that till, and you will be able to see that ARC32 JSON, which we just discussed, right? So first of all, what happened over there? We deployed the code. We ran the command. We initially just pressed the F5, run the code, and then we deployed also. We compiled, and now we can deploy. So how will you deploy? The code is written over here, right? So I'll just copy that code again. I'll come back and I'll paste from here. So it will do the same thing. You can say deploying smart contracts from AlgoKit repository, right? And you can see that it did not deploy a newer one. Why? Because there was no change in the code. So the original one, 1015, it was found. And you can see no detected changes in the app. Nothing to do. And just call the hello world and received hello world. Now the point is we have passed only hello. So how did this particular contract return, or you can say returned hello world? So where is my world, right? So if you remember, I ran this file and not this contract file. So if you open this deploy-config file, you can see that it is importing logging. That's fine. That was just for logging purposes. But important thing is it is importing this particular package, which is basically, which it gives you access to your wallets and everything else, right? But over here, these are two important things for us. That we are importing Algorand client, that is basically your main node, and then we are importing your indexer, right? So what is indexer basically? Indexer is a node which chronologically orders your transactions into blockchain and then propagates the transaction to the other nodes. Over here, Algorand client basically is your RPC URL where your smart contract will be published. Now there is a function listed over here, deploy, which returns nothing. But in that one, we are assigning some variables. So local variables, Algorand client, we are assigning this one, indexer to this one, then specification and deployer. Now deployer basically here is your wallet address. So just remember this, previously it was creator, now it was deployer, right? And what are we importing from here? Hello world client. So that is basically the contract which you have just created. We are importing over. From here, I'm designing an app client, which is basically required for me to deploy the smartphone. That is, I'm passing Algorand client, which I have set over here. Then creator, you can see that because now the newer version is calling the wallet deployer. So I'm assigning deployer to creator and just indexer client equals to indexer. Then the important thing, because we are supposed to sign the transaction and upload also. So over here, deploy function is called, right? You can check the deploy function over here. We can see that signer, sender, allow update, on update, all the functions are given. Signer is basically who is going to sign the transaction. From where it is coming? Over here. So from the deployer, this particular function will know that, okay, I need to sign the transaction using that wallet address. Then we have schema break. So that is basically if something goes wrong, that what is supposed to be done. And if we are updating the application, that what is supposed to be done. So this is all from deployment perspective. We are done. But then how are we passing the parameters? So you can see there is a variable over here called name. In that name, I have passed world. So here we can add either one more variable. We can change the definition so that it will deploy again to check, or we can just change the name over here and we can see that AlgoGyaan, something like this, right? AlgoGyaan text session. Let's say if I do this one. So what will happen now? Instead of hello world, it will have this AlgoGyaan text session deployed. In the response part, I am passing this variable and I'm calling the app client. Then I'm calling the function defined in the app client and I'm passing the variable. And then I'm just logging. What I'm logging? That what is returned from the application. What is the application ID which returned? From here, smart contract name, then the name, whatever we passed and what we received. So name is basically whatever we have passed over here and then the respective value. So all these things basically, when we run, this information will be what? Will be deployed, the contract will be deployed and that using that smart contract from here, we will get that app ID and then we will pass the function with the variables which we are trying to pass. So over here, if I try to run this code again, let me just save this one. Let me try to do that again. I'll go git local project deploy localnet and it will be deployed again. So you can see that name equals to AlgoGyaan text session, which we have just given, and hello AlgoGyaan text session is written. So this is very basic, a very simple, you can say, application. But you can see that the application is still 1015. Why? Because we have not changed the smart contract. We have just changed the calling of smart contract. So now what will I do? I'll just create a very simple different function over here. So I'll do that ARC4 dot. And over here, I can say ABI method. So I'll do that. And then over here, I can have def add. In the add, I'll have self. And instead of name, I have two variables. So I can see A equals to or A something like unsigned integer 64. Then we will have B, unsigned integer 64. And we will return unsigned integer 64. Just remember over here, guys, that you will not supposed to import unsigned integer 4 from ARC. You will return, you will have only string only. So in order to mitigate that error, you need to have unsigned integer 64 imported over here and you will be done. Right. Why still showing an error? Okay. Somehow it is still not, okay. Here I need to change. Capital I, that is the problem. So this is all done. We are good to go. We can now deploy. But then we have to change something over here also. Why? Because this is just the hello world calling. So I'll just copy this code. I'll paste over here the newer code. Right? And instead of name, we will have now two variables. So let's say A equals to 10. B equals to 20. Right? And instead of over here, name, I'll just have A equals to A and B equals to B. No response is required. Instead of hello, we will call add, right? Then we will have, this is okay. What I need is this one from changed information over A, and we will have, let's say B equals to, in the bracket, B, right? And we are good to go. Let us save the codes and let us deploy. So this time I'll run because I need to compile also the contract. We have changed the information. So start debugging. Okay, deploying, and we can see that answer is received, right? A equals to 10, B equals to 20, and received is 30. So our newer function also get deployed. So we have extended the contract and we have deployed over here also. But as per today's session, we were supposed to create the wallets also. Now this is okay. We have done the contract. We have extended a very simple method. We have imported unsigned integer. But then how to create a wallet over here, right? So for that, I've already coded something. So let me just go over there and let us take a look. Yes, yeah, here it is. So basically, when you have an account, so there are two ways to create an account. So if you see over here, account equals to AlgoKit utils. So if you go over here, we can do the same thing over. How? We can create a new account. Account equals to AlgoKit utils dot. If you press dot, you can see get account. So basically, you are creating an account from AlgoD client or something, or you can create from mnemonic or from this one, this one. You can see there are multiple options over here, which you can select, right, to create an account, right? Or if you just want to create an account, yeah, as I said earlier, this one is from just the first one, which is basically your get account, right? So if you select the first option, that is account, so you can see account. Oh, sorry. So this basically is your new account. And if you over here go and check that whether you have created, so you can see that once if the address is visible, that means you have created a new account. Then you can see your private key and public key both. Right? That means your account is created. If you want to print this statement, you can just have a log. You can print over here because we have already printed so many things. So I can print one more variable over here like F double quotes and wallet address, right? And over here, I can see account, not this one, account dot address, and you are good to go, right? You can print the things over there. So basically, we have created a new account like this. But then I told you that there are various ways to do this. So the second variable is something like, let's say account 1 equals to AlgoKit utils. From there, you can see mnemonic. So you will be able to see this particular function. So if you have an account in Wallet, you can export the mnemonic from there and you can import over here. So you can just do like this. And over here, you have to pass the string. String which, what is the string over here? So something like this. This is my account string. And this particular, when I pass this one, it becomes my newer account. That means my account which is created on the Wallet, I am able to now access the same account in my code, right? And the second thing is, if I want to utilize this account to deploy on the test network, so we know that over here, we set the AlgoD client, which is basically currently set to the local name, but I want to change that. So what I've done is I've overwritten over here, and there I have passed this particular line of code, which tells me that my newer AlgoD client is now pointing towards this particular URL, which is my RPC URL. So now the same thing will be deployed over the test network. Same code, I have not done anything. This is just passing the different values and all, right? So what I'll do is I'll go ahead over here and I'll try to deploy from. So now, instead of deploying on the sandbox, this particular code will be deployed on the test network, having from my wallet address. So you can see that this is a different wallet address than the previous one, this particular wallet. And you can see that the app ID is now different, right? I can copy this app ID. Let us just see whether everything is deployed. So yes, we have received. I need to see the 300 one, the last one. Once that is done, our code is okay. Now 300, it is received. So now if I go ahead over here and check in the Explorer and copy that particular app ID over here, I'll be able to see the application. You can see created by me. The application account is this one, created by me. And at the bottom, you will be able to see the transactions. So 4 second, 10, 15, and 21, all the transactions have costed the same amount of gas fees, but all the transactions are now interacting with the same application, right? So you can see that it is so easy now. Previously, it was like Beaker and Teal and everything else over here. Currently, now we are using only Python files. The Puya compiler using this one. And we have integrated the AlgoKit in the best way that we are not supposed to learn any newer language. Your own Python language is enough to create any kind of application, right? Now, since I have to take some, I have to attend some other meeting. Mudassir will explain you how to import this wallet to the app.dev flow, then how to fund that test wallet, how to utilize Sandbox with the app.dev flow, how to transfer the tokens, how to opt in over there, everything which is possible in terms of wallets and what things you need to take care of while connecting to Sandbox environment. So, Mudassir, you there?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm
So
audible.
yeah, you are audible. So you can showcase that if you are able to even connect to Sandbox. So you try because let me see my Sandbox. Yeah, it is still there, but somehow it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work. So just explain them on the test network. Create a new wallet over here in the dev wallets, right?
Yes.
Create a new wallet, then fund the wallet from the bank. Create then try to have opt-in or try to do something so that they have to understand what are various wallets. If you manage to connect to Sandbox, you will be able to see that, what do you say, KMD portal, right? So over here, we can
Yeah,
see
sure.
this one,
I'll do that.
two wallets. So guys, just try to understand. I'm just telling that this particular deployer is the newer account. Previously, we had only unencrypted. Now we have deployed, right? So Mudassir, you just explain them why these deployer accounts, the newer one, you have to connect and everything, how to create a wallet on test network, even if you want to import that para wallet, how to do that and everything. Clear?
Sure.
Okay, guys, before I leave, any questions from anyone? All right. So Mudassir, please take over. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Yeah.
How to pause share? No, stop sharing. Okay. Thank you very much, guys, for joining tonight.
Uh, Moita, is it visible? My screen.
I can see, I mean, what are you showing on your screen right now?
Now the code is
Yeah,
visible.
now I can. Yes, yes. Now the code is visible. Yes.
So Mudassir, don't jump that to the tokens and all. We will cover that next time.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
have the wallets and everything around that. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
The portal, the deployer account, how to connect to KMD portal, transfer tokens and everything.
Yeah,
But
so
nothing like creation of tokens. That will be done next time using Python.
yeah, sure, sure.
Okay. Thank you
Thank you,
very much,
Sunil.
guys.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Moita. Thank you.
So first of all, like I want to explain this indexer. So primary purpose of this indexer is to provide the REST APIs interface so that it can search the Algorand blockchain, and then the indexer REST API retrieve the blockchain data from that PostGRE SQL. And also, the indexer provides a set of REST API calls for searching the transaction accounts, assets, and all these blocks. So these are few things this particular indexer does. And after that, we have this conduit. So conduit can be used for multiple purposes, such as let's say select DApp specification data and act on some specific DApp transaction, or maybe build a custom indexer for a new, let's say you are creating a new ARC or something, and a lot of other you can say events you can done by this conduit. So build a notification system for chain events or something like that. So that's why these all four nodes are very important whenever you work with the algo kit. So you make sure that all the nodes are running over here, and then start your algo kit. So I'll just okay, so I'll just do algo kit in it very quick. And this time I'll choose a full stack app, so that we can also see that we don't need to build our front end from other folder or other. We all have packages in our AlgoKit 2.0. So say AlgoKit. So I'll choose this smart contracts and DApp frontend, so that I have the frontend also integrated with our smart contract, and choose Python, and then I'll name it, let's say, AlgoGyaan session, let's say XYZ. It will take few seconds, and yeah, I will choose this production so that I can deploy on mainnet or testnet. You can choose starter also, but yeah, I'll choose this, and yeah, I'll choose the basic or hello world and Python, and I'll skip the deployment Vercel or Netlify. I can do it later on using my GitHub, because AlgoKit also enables like it will ask you that if you want a GitHub repository initiated or not. So we are getting few files, as we have already seen all these things, but for this time we'll get few another folders for our front end, because I choose that full stack tab. Do you want to AlgoKit bootstrap? Yes. So it will basically bootstrap all the dependencies, all the files, libraries, so that we can run our contract. And Poetry is basically dependency manager for Python. So check all the, it will basically updating dependencies and resolving things, and installing few, not few, lot of packages, and see over here. So it will install few npm dependencies. This is for the front end. Okay, let's wait for a few seconds. Yes, npm is slow, I know. No problem. We'll wait for a few seconds. Okay, meanwhile, let's go to Dapflow. I'm connected to my sandbox, and this is I'll create a new wallet and we'll connect. This is my older wallet. Okay, it's still installing the dependencies. Maybe I can show you my previous. I was testing. So okay, uh, Okay, let's. So we'll get some folders like this. Okay, it's yeah. I want GitHub. Now it will open a new workspace where we have root similar to that contract, the simplest one we have just done. So and after that we'll get AlgoGyaan. This is a name I have written, and this is a contract folder, and this is our front end. So and make sure in Windows, if you are working Windows, you have that VNV, because this environment is very important, because we have installed that WS and all these things. So make sure that you have this .env folder, or else you'll get errors and all these things. So let's go to contract hello world, and I'll just uh, deploy and run this. You can use that command poetry run python minus and smart contract and deploy as it's written in the readme.md, right, over here somewhere. I'll just do contract build and deploy, and it will basically first do algo get local net start, so that it checks that your broker is running or not, all the nodes are healthy or not. So it will check, and after that it will. So yeah, building app, smart contract, and exporting all these things. And yes, now we have artifacts, but yeah, it's not generated yet. Let's wait for a few seconds, and we'll see. And meanwhile, we can go to. Okay. Sorry, front end. So I'll just do one more time in PMI, so we have all the npm dependencies installed, and then I'll show you what front end looks npm run dev or npm run start. Okay. Okay, now we have artifacts also .json file and few other files. The hello world clear and approval, these two files. But we need this JSON file to interact with our front end, right? So I'll show you the front end, and how you can utilize this DAF flow. So one more thing I want to show, that what the wallet address. So hello world is found in YIMW and this, right? So let's check over here. Okay, my sandbox is still running. That's why it's taking that wallet only. So if you are if you'll have connect different wallet, so you don't need to do anything. Just go to KMD portal, and I've already two things, right? Deployer and this. So maybe you can get a different value, and over here there should be another box saying let's say import from KMD. So if you will do that, it will give you these two options. So I am already done that, so that's why it's giving me these. So you can just go and connect, and it will fetch the wallet it created from sandbox. So you can add. So I've already added this, and if you need to fund your wallet, you can go. Let's say this is my wallet, and I have already 4 algos I can dispense. So it will dispense 100 algos. And if you are working on testnet, we have Algorand Bank, I guess. What was that? Testnet faucet. Yes, Algorand bank.testnet.algorand network. So if you're working on testnet, so you just copy your address and paste over here, and you can get 5 algos for testing purposes. So since I've already connected, so I'll go to uh, this interface, Beaker Studio, and This is basically for how you can test your contract from the front end. You don't need to build your front end for testing. You just need to import that JSON you have created. So I'll import uh, the JSON I just created into the artifact. So I'll go to desktop 2.2 session projects and contracts, smart contract artifacts. I just generated the hello world and this .json file. I'll import it. And one more thing, you need to make sure that you have get that app ID. So for me, it's 1002. I'll just copy it and I'll put it over here. App ID should like it cannot be null. So 1002. So yeah, this is the app I have created. So how I can test? So I will execute it, and as you can see, you are getting this name string as we have put for the input, right? So let's say this can give you error sometimes, but uh, it's like network issue or API issue can happen. Just refresh it and uh, do it twice, and it will work for sure. So, so let's say first simulate it, and now it should work. Uh, okay, I forgot to create the app. So after like you have put that app ID 1020 and then create the app. So why it was giving me error? Because my app was some previous JSON values I put. That's why. So let's execute this time and let's see what happens. I'll do simulate and then I'll execute it. So as you can see, uh, it's working and you are getting the transaction ID and the value I have passed over here in my DApp flow will uh, fetching the values from this input from the contract. So hello plus name. Name is the value I just put into my DApp flow interface, and as you can see, the transaction is done on the blockchain and giving me the hello. This, so this is like this platform you can utilize for testing purpose and all these things. And let's go to that front end part as I have created the full stack uh, dApp. So let's see what it. So yeah, we have a very nice front end to start. And if you click over here, you will get all the documentation, CLI tools, and everything. So you can check it out here. What are the functions? Check over here. If you provide some address, you can send algos, and you can basically this front end is generated so that you can start building without any other package installation or a React project installation. So this is something you can do it, and contract interaction demo you can put and send application. Okay, it's working. And after that, we have created over here, right? And you can check all the transaction and all these things here. And let's say that marketplace or any other dApps you have created, you can import API from that Beaker Studio, import over here that JSON file, and just put the app ID and create app, and then you can easily test whatever functions you have created in that particular contract. So let's say in this case we have only this input and this value, so I'm getting all these things. But if you have multiple functions, multiple instances, all these things, you can have multiple values and then you can test accordingly. This is for sandbox environment. But if you want to, let's say, connect your own wallet, so I'll disconnect and you can use your para wallet. Okay, I have to go to testnet because sandbox is only for your local environment. So I'll connect to testnet, and then you can easily use your para wallet, your own wallet. If you have created, you can scan and connect with your para wallet, and then you can test. So I hope you get what I was trying to execute and all this. So if you have any further questions, anything you want to ask, feel free to jump in. And yes, we have uploaded all our previous videos to our that YouTube channel, and we are very active in our Twitter and LinkedIn. Please follow us on Twitter, and we basically put all our updates on Twitter and LinkedIn. And yes, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. Mohit, I think we can
Yeah.
close if you don't
Yeah,
have any
sure.
question.
But I'd like to thank you, Mudassir, for stepping in at the last minute since something urgent came up on Sunil's end.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
thank you for stepping in. Thank you to those who've joined us. And like Mudassir said, all our previous sessions are available on our YouTube channel. And it'd be great if you could also follow us on Twitter, because that is Twitter and LinkedIn. Although I would still say that Twitter is the most updated in terms of the updates that we provide. And there are several activities and events lined up in the weeks ahead. So thank you so much. And let's meet next Wednesday again at 8:30 with a new session with part 2 of the Python series. So thank you and have a lovely rest of the evening.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Mm.